G'day, it's the 13th of October. I'm a little late on my winter crop walk this year, so bear with me. Starting this year at the back of Edgeroy, just east of Edgeroy. A bit of a ways down the Denny Lane at the moment. There was a few showers last night, so I hope I can get through here, but yeah, at the moment just standing in a field of wheat. Looks like there's a little bit of damage in places, maybe from frost, maybe just from the drier finish. But yeah, good start for the day. I'll keep moving around. Today we're going to head up the sort of eastern side of the Newell, up towards Terry High, Pallamallawar, Cropper Creek, then come back down sort of along the western side of the Newell, not far west, and finishing off sort of in the Maules Creek area. So okay, I'm just east of Bladder now, at the corner of the Denny Lane and the Haystack Road. So far I've just seen mainly wheat and some favour beans through here. I think it's going to be one of those days where I'll struggle to not pull up and have a look at every crop because it's so much better than what it has been in the last couple of years. But also got the drone with me today, so we'll throw it up every now and then. And but yeah, this wheat sort of not far off harvest. There's still a few green heads in it, but yield wise you'd probably be looking at maybe 18 bags, maybe 14 bags maybe. This is just some of the grain out of the field we were looking at. Looks pretty good protein, good size about it. A couple of smaller ones, but not too many. So just east of Bladder now, heading towards sort of Gurley, Terry Highway. Probably called Saltwell here. Field of, it looks like durum wheat. I'll rub a few seeds out. Being so green, it's pretty hard to rub anything out, and there's been a bit of a shower through here already this morning, so. But generally, yeah, it looks pretty good. There's no sort of small grains in amongst any of it. Still east of Gurley here. Is a beautiful field of poverty grass. The barley crops I've seen have actually been pretty good. There's a few of them sort of just starting to lay down in places. Must have got blown over in a storm last night. That was sort of more towards Narrabri than up here. But yeah, I really haven't seen a bad barley crop yet. And just on the other side of this field of barley, there's a few chickpeas. We'll go over and have a look at that and see where the pods are. So just here in the chickpeas, there's a little bit of asco sort of coming through it. Not much, but I won't walk into it. And pods, yeah, it's got plenty of pods too. Still a few flowers on it here and there. Okay, just here midway between sort of Gurley and Terry High, another field of barley. There's quite a lot of barley through here, a lot more than what I thought there would be, considering where the price is. But this one's quite a low crop. Nowhere near as good as the last one. In all honesty, this isn't a bad crop, but it's probably one of the worst ones I've seen today, which is a little bit scary if you're sort of looking to market a lot of barley in a hurry this year. But okay, sort of north of Terry High now. Discovered a few things as I've been driving around today, some things more interesting than others. This is the first lot of windrowed canola I've seen. I'll throw the drone up and have a look at this from the air. The other thing is just the lack of fallow country that's out here at the moment. Like I know you can't see a lot from the road, but it's a percentages game, so it's just interesting to see that there's hardly any fallow left at the moment for summer crops. So it'll be interesting to see what the punters plug the northern New South Wales sorghum plant at this year. And the other less interesting thing was after replacing the wheel bearings in the ute, the noise in the back end's still there, so yeah, I find that disturbingly uninteresting. But I'll throw the drone up and have a look at this from the air, see what it looks like. I'm probably midway between Terry High and Binnigai on the Ramarka Road, and this is the second paddock of sorghum I've seen today. Across the road's a nice crop of wheat. We'll duck across and have a look at that too. There's the field of wheat here. It looks pretty good. It's quite high. It's got some good size heads on it too. I'm not going to jump into the paddock just here. But this sort of resembles most of the wheat I've seen sort of so far today in this area. It's quite a handy crop. A little bit more sorghum here. I'm just at the corner of the Remarka Road and the Gilbrook Lane, I think it is. Yeah, so there's a lot more green in the paddocks around here. A bit more sorghum. Looks like there was a fall of rain here last night too, so won't do it any harm. Just at the top of the Lairdu Road now, sort of heading towards Pallamallawar, near the Great Eye Road junction. There's another paddock of barley here. It's sort of a bit like the other one we saw that wasn't that great near Gurley. It's sort of just struggled a little bit by the looks of it. It's sort of only just pushed out, and heads are quite small. Like generally looking across the crop it doesn't look too bad, but in places it's sort of not as good as it could be. There's a paddock on the other side here, paddock of wheat. We'll have a look at that too. There's a nice field of wheat just on the other side of the barley we were looking at. There's still a few green patches in it in the contour banks, but otherwise it's looking pretty close to coming off. There was sort of 5 or 10 mil here last night, which is going to slow everything down a little bit for a day or two, I guess, but they're talking 32 degrees for the rest of the week, so everything should come in pretty quick from here. I'll rub some grains out of this and have a look. It actually rubbed out a lot easier than what I thought it would, so it could even be closer. There's a few small ones in it though. Yeah, not big plump grain by any means. Not here on the headland anyway. I don't know. I don't want to forecast a screenings issue, but you may well see a few screenings about the place. Okay, just a little bit north of where we were a second ago. Another paddock of barley. It's still plenty of barley up here. I don't know what the split would be. Probably 60-40 barley wheat from what I've seen. Maybe a little bit more wheat, but plenty of barley. So far I've only seen one paddock of stubble, so one harvested block, probably barley. But yeah, this is pretty much representative of what I'm seeing in the barley at the moment. Okay, just in a field of wheat here north of Milgai now, so I'll sort of head a little bit further north to maybe Cropper Creek and then push back towards Moree from there. But this pretty much looks like most of the wheat I've seen so far. Up through here there's probably a little bit more wheat than barley from what I've seen. A little bit of canola on the deck closer to Pally. Yeah, it must be pretty close to being harvested now. I'll rub a sample out and see what it looks like. Yeah, it rubbed out fairly easy here too, so it's pretty dry. They'll be harvesting this fairly soon. There doesn't seem to have been the rain here as what there was just a little bit further south of here, so they probably missed the storm last night. This is just across the road from where we were a second ago. Looks like durum wheat, this one. I hate guessing what wheat is in the field like this, but yeah, it's got all the characteristics of durum. I'll rub out a little bit of this one and just see what it's like. Yeah, much greener than the other one across the road. A lot harder to rub out. Nice dark grain, but good sized grain. Everything looks pretty good. It'll be interesting to see how it comes off, but yeah. So I went as far north as Crooble, and then cut across the Bumuckledie Lane and onto the Crooble Moree Road, then down the Wongabindi Lane a little bit here, and it's just more barley. The country up around Crooble and sort of across the top was maybe 30% harvested, so there was quite a few paddocks there that had a header through them. The split between wheat and barley was probably 50-50 across there. I'll just have a look at this barley here and see what it looks like in the hand. That bit of barley rubbed out really easy. It must be pretty close to going. The grain's very white, so it's probably not that high in protein, so maybe malt. And it doesn't look too bad a size. There's a couple of smaller ones in there, but it's not too bad. Just sort of midway down the Wongabindi Lane. I just pulled up here. There's a few headers over in the paddock, sort of waiting to go. There's a chaser bin. The field next to this field's been harvested, so this one's not too far away. Looks pretty good. It's sort of, I don't know, a bit over waist high on me, so yeah, there's a few of you out there that'll probably say it's about up to the normal man's knee, but I'll get over that. But yeah, it looks pretty good. It's a bloody nice crop actually. I don't know what you'd put a yield on it at, but oh, it looks every part of a couple of tonne. There you go. I'll just rub a sample out and see what it looks like. Here's that bit of wheat. It was a little tougher to rub it out, so it's still probably a few days off. You can see a few small ones in there. Protein looks pretty good, but yeah, probably a lot like the other ones we've seen up through here. Probably going to be alright, but maybe a bit of a screenings issue. Just here on the Burrington Road, sort of south-east of Moree, heading towards Tarcana Creek. This is the first crop of standing canola I've seen. Most of it's been windrowed so far. Yeah, I'll just have a look at a few pods and see if they're filling or if they've got any frost damage or anything. Yeah, just rubbing a couple of pods out. It doesn't look too bad. Yeah, everything seems to be filling quite right, the way it should be. It rubs out really easy, so if they're going to direct head it, they won't want to muck around and they want to get into it pretty quickly. With a few storms about next week, it might not be here. Yeah, good crop. I'll keep going. So I've been driving for a while now. I sort of got to Gurley, went straight through Gurley out the Glenroy Road. Out past Glenroy, you sort of do a loop and come back in on the Millie Road. And then I'll probably get onto the Bald Hill Road and head down towards Narrabri from there. Basically, if there's an empty field, I mean there's a field that isn't a grazing block out here, it's got wheat in it, so there's just wheat and more wheat. And it all looks pretty much like this, so it's all pretty good wheat, you know, like a good sort of 18 bag crop. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of wheat out through this part of the world. At Gurley, they're already dumping a bunch on the ground. I'm not sure what it was, whether it was wheat or barley, but there was a big pile there as well. This wheat sort of rubs out really well. It's good, got a really nice colour. Grain size isn't great, probably not as bad as the stuff we saw sort of around Crooble in places up through there, but yeah, probably pretty similar. The size isn't great, so it'll be touch and go whether these things around here have screenings issues or not, but the protein's definitely there. Anyway, I'll head back. I've sort of pushed out a little bit further west than I wanted to. I'll head back towards the east and go along the western edge of the Newell down to Narrabri and see what we see through there. One thing I haven't seen a lot of today are favour beans. This is a field just down the Bald Hill Road a little bit from the Millie Road. The crops I have seen are pretty representative here, like they look pretty much like this one. It's not a lot to them really. There you go, just rubbed a few pods out. Yeah, they're favour beans. I don't know whether they'll have a green mark on them or not, but they're still sort of ripening, but they're pretty close to harvesting really. Like there's not a lot of moisture left in them really. They're pretty hard. You can't sort of crack them with your thumbnail.